Evening all, and welcome back to Factory Town. We're here on the main menu because I'm going to have to actually restart. I recorded 2 or 3 episodes of the last bit that I did, and in the process of trying to move my saves from one computer to another, I screwed something up monumentally and lost them all. So yeah, we're going to start again. We'll just call that other one a practice run. But I have been playing with this crate game map editor bit in pieces, and I think I found a setting I kind of really like. If we go to Archipelago, here we get the wonderful ridges and jump bits and bits pieces. If we turn off these two here, the bypass just turns them off. But go to the first one, we change the H scale all the way up, and you can see you get this wonderful button here. And down the bottom we've got global cutoff. We put that down to 0, providing I can get it onto 0. Nope. You can see we've got this little ridge line here, and when we create this map we end up with an awesome shoreline, and I really like the idea of building a base on a shoreline. You can see if you go over there it goes off that way, and we'll end up going around that corner by the looks of it there, so there's not much land there, but yeah, all this is obviously low. There's a bit of land over there, all that's there. You get these wonderful bits of stone as well that look like reefs. I like the idea of building on a shoreline. Yeah, it's pretty flat land. In fact, it's completely flat land to think about it. But I like the idea of it. I think it's you know, it makes sense. Makes sense. Our people came along, washed up on shore, and we're going to build a base from here. So that's it. This is how we're going to play. Hopefully we'll be able to get everything working properly. The base has got a new icon. I like that. This is version 049. There's been a few updates and changes. Apparently between the last time I recorded there was a big bug with farmlands. Also there's that bug. That's a known bug of a random scaffold block appearing. And I don't know, doesn't do anything, doesn't get in the way of anything. Obviously I can't build on the water anyway, but just randomly appears. I don't know, just an odd one, that one. Right, so we want to build the base somewhere near stone and wood. So, well, anywhere along the shoreline, I suppose. I would like to clear out a lot of this and build on the shore. So let's put our base down here. Matter about rotation, but there you go. That's where we landed. We've landed there. That's probably a bad place to put a base, but that's where we have landed. Okay, so tutorials. Let's see whether these work. Last time I had an issue with it where it wasn't saying I was building workers, and again, that's something that's been fixed. I really do need to actually sort of get in and reporting bugs that I find, because I tend to go, well, I'll report that. I'll go into Discord and I'll report a bug that I find, and it'll be fine. And then something else comes up and I forget all about it, and then by the time I actually go, oh yeah, I'll go and do that, someone else has done it. It's already been done. So yeah. A terrible tester. But anyway, yeah, so we need to grab wood and build a house from here. It's the exact same controls as before. You grab a worker by clicking on them. You can click anywhere in the world, they will move there. Just left click to do that, right click to actually move the camera for that one, or it's right click to cancel. But to grab resources, you just mouse over them. There's a tree, you click and hold and drag it to where you want to drop it off. So if I want to drop it off in the base, on a chute, in a house, whatever, and that's fine. I must also remember that workers can drop things on chutes. The second episode of the last one I had it, so I was having my workers go to crates and stuff. Completely forgot they can drop things on chutes. So, yeah. We're gonna need a house. We're going to need a house. So let's build a house. We'll put it on the coast. Be a lovely coastal house. Just thinking, we're a long way off farms yet. We're a long way. There's no point in me thinking about farms. We'll put it on the coast. We will two. We will 2 houses. There we go. And now we need to create 2 workers, which we can do as well, because we're going to need 2 workers. We are. Because our houses are going to need stuff. They're going to need things to be supplied on. So select a worker and grab some grain. That's grain there. Let's do that. Grab grain there. You can do the same. Boom. And they can supply the houses with grain. Obviously, this if you haven't seen the last ones or haven't seen the previous stuff, The houses now require a lot more. I think they actually require less, but they have a lot more options to pick. So it's a bit easier, but then there's more to do. If you really want to keep houses happy, you've got more options for things. So it just sort of gives you options. Options are good. Options are good. I'll just build a path. Let's do that. Yeah. Okay. That will let our workers go faster. Paths, obviously, like every game, just make workers run faster on them. Paths are obviously a bit of a weird one as well. When you have a path, if you click and drag, it will drag it in a straight line. But if you go off, it won't. But it will do it back on that line. So when you start dragging in one way, it will always snap to that angle, whether it be left or right or up and down, depending on the way you're looking. So yeah, get that there. Okay. Some weird thing going on there. Right. We need to build a lumber mill. A lumber mill changes wood into logs, or changes logs into, so I can't remember exactly what's called. It changes wood into planks. They're not logs, they're called wood for some reason. And I want to put it somewhere close to the trees. It doesn't have to be smack bang on them, because it's not a. It's got an area of effect. I don't know why it's got an area of effect. Strange. If you put it on the water, it can do paper as well. I'm not sure why it has an area, to be honest with you. It doesn't actually grab wood from trees or anything. So yeah, you have to feed it. You have to actually feed it logs. The forest is the one that automatically grabs the trees. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, the lumberyard. Lumberyard will take wood, have a blokey there grabbing wood and put it in there, and it will create planks from the wood, and then the planks need to be taken and put into the base. Planks cannot go on chutes, I believe. Double check that. We can't build any chutes because we need planks. The planks inside buildings don't count. They must be in the base or inside a barn. So I need to grab one of these workers. You need to grab the planks and put in the base, so we can actually build things. That would be helpful. Okay. Right. The base is full. It starts off with 4 slots and I can only store 100 items, and then as you upgrade it, you get more and more as it goes. But we need to upgrade a house first, apparently. Upgraded houses also consume items faster. Okay. A good indication of when you upgrade a house, you see here, it needs planks to upgrade. So it's a good indication of what's coming next. You can see here on the list here, that means they're going to want planks. The next one, they're going to want that there. They're going to want planks, stone, iron, or reinforced plank. That's new. So that sort of gives you an indication as to what they're after in the future. So if we upgrade one of these houses, like so, they still appear to be very happy just taking grain, which is surprising because I can't really say I want to eat grain plain as it is. I mean, I've had this conversation before, but yeah, I don't know. Actually, no, grain would be okay. It's when you upgrade to flour, isn't it? You can deliver them flour, and they eat flour, which is the weird one. But anyway, so you've got grain. It doesn't actually give you the demands of what they actually want. Odd. But the tutorials here, obviously, we need to give it planks. That's what we'll do. I'm just going through the tutorials because it gives you sort of a guide as to what you're doing. It doesn't actually give you anything for free. Just gives you a bit of a guide as to what's going on. So what I can do here as well is I can build a path straight from the base all the way along to the front of my houses. And there we go. Okay, so we now have planks and grain go into our 2 houses. To upgrade the base, we need 4 happy houses. Okay, so we need 4 of them. Right, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. What I can do, I can rotate that one. and then we can build one next to it, then another one. Trying to think how this would work in the future, because we're going to get things like markets and bits and pieces that's going to come along. Obviously, if you've seen me play this before, you kind of know what's coming, but if you haven't, then you're new to this. I'm thinking ahead, but obviously, well, things can be moved. Things can be moved, can't they? So let's just build another 2 houses. There we have another 2 houses. Let's build another 2 workers. You can work on grain. Work on grain. Now they can't actually get to that house down the back there because it's blocked off. That's fine. Right. There we go. We now have 5 happiness. We could have got away with 2 houses if we'd have just upgraded that one. That would have given us 2 happiness. So, but we can upgrade the base. So let's upgrade the base. Cost 20 gold, 10 planks, 20 stone. We have all that. And gold we got 72. Upgrade the base. There we are. And now you see it's condensed this stone together, which is quite cool. I did not know it did that. And it can store a lot more. We get twice the amount of slots, and each slot can hold 200, I believe, maybe more. Not entirely sure. Yeah. So a food market. This is where we get into the interesting stuff. A food market is a place that will automatically sell food to houses. It does have an area. I think it can actually deliver to anywhere on the map at the moment, but that may not be intentional, so don't rely on that. So you want to try and put it so that it's at least inside there. You see it's not actually having arrows to my houses, so yeah, I think it can deliver to anywhere at the moment. But we'll still keep it within the sphere of influence, so it makes more sense. So let's put down the market there. And the way the market works is that instead of you delivering grain to the houses, you can see we're doing at the moment, we can just deliver it to the market, and the market will automatically deliver to whatever house is required. So that means I can grab you, and tell them to all deliver to the market, and the market will take the grain, and then as and when houses want them, it will just supply them with grain. And I can do the same here. If I say you take planks to the market instead, that will supply whatever house with planks. So I can upgrade these houses, and they will automatically, I don't have to have a worker per house delivering stuff. You can still deliver directly to houses, it's an option, but if you deliver to a food market, that'd be fine. Actually, now thinking about it, that will not work. That will not work. And the reason it won't work, if I can find out what I've done here, apparently I've set you... no, there you are. There you are. See, he's actually not delivering, because that is a food market, and I'm an idiot. A food market is for food, not for anything else. So that will not work. That will not work. Let's get you actually delivering wood to there. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete this house, which I know seems a bit weird, but I'm going to build another house on the end here. One that doesn't require wood, just requires grain, and these 4 people can carry on delivering grain to bits and pieces. They can deliver grain to the market, and the market can deliver to the houses. That keeps things going. Right, so the next bit is the grain mill. I am sorry if I'm rushing through this a bit quick. I've obviously done these tutorials before on a previous playthrough, and I've had a little bit of a play with them recently, so I do know what I'm doing. I would suggest if you're a new player, do follow the tutorials. They are quite useful, showing you what to do, and also read a lot about what's going on here. There is, going slightly off track here, a button down here called Economy, which I found to be very, very useful. It just tells you what if you mouse over any of these items, ignoring the coins for the moment. If you mouse over them, it says you can harvest grain from farm tiles, grain or farm tiles. So it can either be harvested in the world, like it is here, or it can be done via farm tiles, which we'll get into later. Flour, when you mouse over it, it just says produced in a grain mill. So if you're ever lost, if you ever don't know, oh, I need to find how to make apples. I found, but I need to find how to make stone brick. I've got stone, but how to make stone brick? Well, you mouse over it, and it says produced by stonemason. So you then now know, oh, okay, I need to go to the build menu and find a stonemason, and that's the one that can make my stone brick. If you're ever missing something. These coins here, obviously, this is what's sold. When you deliver something to the market, like at the moment we're delivering grain to the market, it's sold to a house for 1 gold. Also, when you deliver to a house directly, it's sold for 1 gold, 1 yellow coin. Other items are sold for other coins here, as you can see. Planks are 3, so that would give us more. Stone brick actually gives you a red coin. That's the first red coin I think you get to. And you'll discover later on that things need coins as they go on, but I'm sort of digressing there. But the economy tab is a very useful feature because it lists every item in the game that I know of, and I assume it will always list every item in the game. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I guess it will. And as I said, when you mouse over it, it just says, well, that one says item description conveyor belt magic. That's not very helpful, but it says produced by machine shop, so you know where to look for it. The economy tab is very, very useful for information. Probably not designed for that, it's probably more designed to see where the coins are coming from, but I found that dead useful. Anyway, let's get back to the actual game, shall we? Grain mill. Let's build a grain mill. So, grain mill. Grain mill will take grain and convert grain into flour. Sorry, my brain went dead there for a moment. So we'll put that down there. Yes, it will convert grain into flour or animal feed. I should have known that. So, what I can do is I can tell my workers here, take grain and put into the grain mill instead. Grain mill. Grain mill. Oh, I missed one. You, come here. That's another thing I will point out there for the moment. If I do that there, and if you ever have people or workers or carts or whatever doing anything, you need to know where they're going or what they're doing. If you just mouse over the building, you'll see those little white icons. If you go sort of top down, you can see there's a white icon to that worker there. He is grabbing things from there and delivering to here. And also, we've got one grabbing from the lumber mill and delivering to the base. So it just tells you. So you can just go, oh, is anyone delivering to the market? No, they aren't. But who's delivering to this here? There you go. There's all the people. I think that comes up, yeah, when you click on the actual building, it stays highlighted. So again, a very, very useful sort of option there. If you're ever not sure, like there, I was moving my grain people, but I missed one. So I just mouse over the market and go, I missed one. There it is. Right, so the grain mill obviously takes 3 grain and makes 1 flour from it. So I need to repurpose one of these people. I think I can grab one of these workers and do it that sort of way. I grab you, and oh, not you. We will then obviously mouse over and grab the flour and drop it in the market. And that sells for 5 gold. You can see he's dropping that in there, and it's selling to the workers for 5 gold instead of 1, which obviously helps our gold reserves. That's good. But that's your first bit of conversion, I suppose, where you're changing from one type of thing to another. We are going to run out of grain here. I'm probably going to have to move up to there, which is where we can use chutes. So that's our first bit there. It's now saying to move on to make a workshop, but I think I'm first going to put down these chutes here. It's a very simple sort of design. Not entirely worried about it going up or down. It's a chute, right. There are some things about chutes and conveyor belts. We haven't got conveyor belts yet, but if I draw a chute out, this works the same way as paths. If you click and hold and drag and then move left or right, it will not work, but it will work on the straight that you've done there. So you see it there, even though it's over here, because that's a straight line. So you haven't got to worry about it going all wonky and terribly wrong. And obviously X is the universal delete tool that just removes stuff. I believe you can have a chute and right click. Yeah, you can right click on, if you have whatever selected, you can right click and remove it there. So with chutes, putting items onto chutes, it must either go downhill or flat. Chutes can never go uphill because they're just sliding. They're just sliding there. But there is a problem with this chute. Right now, my workers can't get there. They'd have to go all the way around here, walk through these trees to get to there. So we need to build a little bridge for them to go over. Luckily, we have wonderful things for that that I really hope I have unlocked. Yes, I have by the looks of it. A scaffold ramp, scaffold block, and a wooden arch. So the scaffold ramp is exactly what it says on the tin. It is a ramp. So we click that. Got a ramp. You press R to rotate it. That works with every building. R to rotate. We need one over there as well. With the scaffold ramp, you can press tab to switch between the scaffold block and a ramp. I think that's one of the only ones you can do that sort of switch with. Chutes you can change as well. I will show you that. Well, but if I just switch between the two there, and what I could do now is I could put in a scaffold block, but that would probably block the chute. I mean, the chute would not work there. Put that in there, and you see it's that would probably block the chute getting through. So instead, we'll remove that by right-clicking with it selected. Go back to the build menu, and you've got something called a wooden arch, which is pretty much the same thing, but as you can see, doesn't have a bottom piece. Got the bit of wood missing along the bottom. So that will allow the chute to go through. And once you've built your ramp, you just put a path over the top of it, like so, and your workers can now walk over the bridge. I think workers can walk 2 at a time over a bridge, but if you have, say, a wagon, which we'll get later, they can't. If they meet each other on a bridge, they stop and turn around. It's a bit weird, but you can also put stuff onto chutes. I forgot about this last playthrough. If you grab and just drop on a chute, it's the same as working for a building. Your workers will just drop things on a chute, like so. He's actually going to go through the forest there, so I'm going to tell him to actually drop on the second part of the chute. That'll be okay. Now, there is a drawback to dropping in the middle of a chute. Sometimes it will go the wrong direction. If you drop in the middle of a chute, sometimes it will go up instead of down. That makes sense. You can sort of get away with that by having a little ramp on the end, so it will always push down, but I think we'll be okay here, because even if it does end up going the wrong way, it will... Well, I'm not sure what will happen. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, dropping things on the middle of chutes is not really a great thing, as I said. They can go random directions. And they can't go uphill, as I said, because they'll just come along. You see they bounce into each other. They'll just do that. They'll bounce into each other and just go back. So, chutes do have another wonderful feature as well. I grab a chute. You can also, you can mouse over anything in the world that you've put down and press C to make a copy of it. So I've now selected that there. So if I wanted to grab grain mill, mouse over it, press C, got a grain mill. So that just makes life easier. If I do that, you see that's really not ideal. That's not. Well, what if I wanted that to come over but not connect in the center? Well, you can do that. If you right click, remove that one there. If you press tab with a chute, you'll bring up precision mode, I believe it's called, and then you can use the R key to rotate round. I think there's a key that goes back as well, I'm not sure, but R basically rotates around, and this allows you to put in chutes exactly where you want them. So if I put that in like that, then any corn that goes onto this chute here will go along, straight along, and come out that end. You will see there's a problem with this part here. I'm getting a bit technical here, but see that if a grain was to come onto this chute here, it could then go right or left. It go right or left. We don't want that. We'd only want it to go, well, we don't want it to go left to come on and then go right to come off. So the way to do that is grab your chutes, and if you remove them, we'll put them in again. Go to precision mode. You can see that's what we want. So if we click that there, it only comes out. It doesn't have the other option to go on at all. So that's a sort of a way you can. It's precision mode. It's exactly what it says. You can build chutes to be exactly the way you want them to be, like so. So they can do that. In fact, I reminds me of that old game Pipe Mania. I just love that game. I put the pipes in the right place to get the liquid to go where it goes to complete the level. Absolutely love that. If I do that and then remove that center block, see, they now have a choice of going left or right. But they're always going left. But they can't go straight on here. Can't at that junction. They can't, because I've got one turning. If we look at it that way, I've got one that turns up, it makes a left turn going up, and this one makes a right turn going up. But there's no straight across, so the corn could not end up going around in circles on this. It must go that way. Not sure why it's always turning right there. Or left, sorry. It has the option to turn right, but it's not for some reason. I don't know why. That's not important. It's not. I'm just sort of showing that's what you can do with chutes. You can have them going exactly where you want them to go. That is quite useful for when you want to do like grain mills and stuff like that, because you can have two grain mills, have the chute come along to here and then go along this way. Have another grain mill here, and you can have one offshoot to that grain mill, one offshoot to this grain mill, and it will work for both of them. So yeah, that's chutes. Okay. The next thing is a workshop. Aha, I'm gonna get into wheels and stuff soon. I've got new. Oh no, I've got new workers. Got new paths. Anything new you open up, when you press B for the build menu, they'll have a little flashing icon saying you're doing new things. And I think down here the build menu flashes as well. I think. Not been paying attention to that down there. These buttons here is just the exact same: select mode, build mode, remove block mode, and so on and so forth. Research, that sort of thing. But you can just press B to bring up the build mode. So yeah. Right, let's build a workshop. A workshop takes wood and does things with it. So let's we'll put you down there. Right, we've unlocked a new barn. It does. It's got a little exclamation mark telling me I've got new things. I wasn't sure of that. You can see we've got new things unlocked. We've got decor, new structural block, stairs. Not sure what the difference between stairs and a ramp is. Allows workers to climb one level. Suppose you can put that in if you had, like here, if you had that ridge. You could put stairs in there rather than ramps. I don't know. I've never used stairs. I would use ramps, but yeah. We have a wagon as well, and barn. A barn is basically like another base. It's a smaller base. It's just another storage area. But the difference between barns and crates, because crates are also a storage area, crates are a lot smaller. They don't output stuff automatically. The barn does have an output option, which would be when you bring up chutes. You see you've got that red icon, that's the auto output. But anything stored in a barn is in your main inventory, so you can use it to build things. Anything stored in a crate or a silo is not. Silos come much later. I think they do. I don't know if they've been replaced with crates. I'm not sure. But anyway, we built a workshop, and they now want us to build a barn. Okay, we can do that. Not that we need a barn yet, but we'll build a barn. So let's put a barn in. We'll put a barn over here. Don't need a barn. I think whether I do need a barn or not. No, I don't think I need one. Let's put it over there. There we go. Put a barn over there. We built a barn. Now we need to create a wagon. Wagons are awesome. So, create a wagon. We need here under workers. We need wheels. We need 4 wheels, 10 planks, 40 gold, and a population. Population is controlled by how many buildings you have, how many houses I have. Each house can support 2 workers, I believe it is, and as you upgrade them, they increase more. Upgrade doesn't actually tell you, but yeah, you upgrade them and it can increase how many workers you can have. And each building you put down that does something requires a worker. The food market I think is free, but the grain mill requires a worker. It has 1. It can have a maximum of 5. The lumber mill and the workshop, they're all the same. They've all got 1 worker. So I could not put another workshop down now because I don't have another worker. There must be someone in there. So keep that in mind as well. It's not just how many people you've got in the world, it's actually how many buildings as well. yeah, so to create a wagon, we need to feed this some planks in order to make wheels. And to do that, we need to take planks from there or from the base. Where this can store 200 and it's getting full. So I need to grab things from there or the base. What have we got? We've got 2 people grabbing trees for lumber. Let's upgrade these houses. Upgrade all of them. Bom, bom, bom. Now that does mean they're all going to kind of want... It does seem there's been a slight change. That they don't get unhappy when they haven't got the materials. They're just not as happy. My happiness has now dropped to 104%. So they do want the wood because I've now upgraded them to there. But I've not sent any. I'm not sending any wood to them yet. We'll get to that. We will get to that. But I just want extra people. Let's put down another 2 workers. I suppose is a good idea. And we'll have you take planks to there. We'll have you take wheels to there. That I don't think worked. No, it did not. Okay. Wheels to there. Yep, right. Okay. There we go. We're now getting wheels. 2 wheels. Yay. 2 wheels. So we need 4. We need 4 wheels. Yeah, I'm on. There we go. 4 wheels. And if we go to the build menu now, we have a worker. There is a wagon. Wagon. We'll put a wagon down. A wagon is just like a worker with a few exceptions. Firstly, it can't harvest resources. I can't tell it to grab that herb. I don't. Yeah. Oh, it can. Oh, it can. Okay. I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to do that. I'm pretty sure wagons are not allowed to harvest resources. There is a wagon type thing later on that does that. So I'm not sure if that's a bug or if that's a change I'm unaware of. But apparently they can. Can they grab coal? Yeah, apparently it can. But it can't be coal in a workshop. That makes sense. What if I tell you to grab coal and put it in there? Well, the 2 exceptions to a wagon over a worker is that, one, they can't grab resources, but now apparently they can. So I don't know whether that's a bug or intended. I'm not sure. Yeah. And the second one is they can carry 4 items at once. That's the biggest one. They are a lot quicker, particularly on stone roads. They outrun people by a long, long way. Yeah, and later on there is something to unlock which actually has a drill which can grab stone and stuff. I don't think that's intentional. I think that is a bug. If I'm honest with you, don't think the wagons are supposed to be doing that. I didn't see anything in the notes that does that. I do know there was a bug where a wagon would harvest stuff and then stop randomly. So maybe that's what I'm experiencing here. So yeah, that's interesting. Let's stop that because that's not what they're that's a bit overpowered. I let them do that. That's a bit weird. Yeah. So what I can do with this, probably the best way to do it is if I was to tell you to grab the flour from there and drop into the food market, you would be able to grab 4 flour at a time and drop it in the food market, which just makes life quicker. Don't need that right now because that one worker was doing a good enough job, but that's what they do. They can just travel longer stuff. I'm thinking they would be very useful if I had the other market, which I don't think we can build yet, can we? No, we can't build the other market yet. The second market delivers wood or planks, so I could grab planks from the base and drop it off into the market. So, yeah. But we are running out of grain. That is a bit of a problem. What I'm going to do, I'm going to extend this chute. Extend the chute there. One. Unfortunately, you do have to tell your workers to go. They go back to the original place where they were working from. So they'll drop there, and then when they're done, they'll come all over here, grab from there, come all the way back here to drop it here, because that's where they're programmed to do it, rather than going to the closest part of the chute. But yeah, it swings and roundabouts. Swings and roundabouts. One other thing, obviously, corners and kinks and things will slow down your grain, so that would actually be going quicker if I didn't have this here. But not really backing up at all, so I'm not all that fussed about it. I believe the longer you have as a straight run, you'll see these speed up. See that one catching up? So the longer the run is, the quicker it actually becomes. So if I actually grab a chute and run straight through the middle, see now they're going around in circles. Now things are going wrong because they have the opportunity to turn. So if I do that, luckily they do kind of find their way, which is quite useful. And if they do end up going backwards, like I think one did there, it will just stop. It will stop the whole thing and everything goes terribly wrong. To fix that, if you press M to bring up the move tool, something's actually down here as an option. But any item you click on a belt or a chute with the move tool will be taken from the belt and automatically put in your inventory. So I click that one, and everything will start moving. And see, there we go. And I think the reason it stopped is probably because we had a backup of things there. Right. Why are you going all the way around? Go grab grain and put it on the end. You yeah, I think it's because they're putting it halfway along, it's stopping them as they're putting things on. So I'll remove that one and start going again. It is a little annoying it doesn't like push and start things going again, but because it does seem to do that down here when things get blocked up and they back up, the next one comes along and taps it and it moves. But sometimes when things are put on in the middle, I think it wants to travel the opposite direction, which is why it just stops rather than losing momentum. When they get stopped this way here, they don't go bounce back. But yeah, as I said, the longer the straighter the run is, the longer a straight run is, the faster the actual items will start travelling along it with a chute. In fact, to the point where they can outdo even magic conveyor belts if it's a long enough run. But we'll get to magic later on. We'll get to magic. Okay, so we ran out of trees. You grab trees, grab trees. You grab trees. Okay, we've got some apple trees here as well. You can harvest them for the food market, I believe. So that's something we might be able to do. I think. Right. But it wants us to upgrade the base. And to upgrade the base, we need 20 stone bricks and 8 happiness. Stone brick, again, like the economic one down there, any items you don't understand, mouse over them and it brings up the tooltip produced by a stonemason. So it's exactly the same thing. It's just that sometimes you'll be looking at stuff going, oh, how do I get this or how do I get that? And you can bring up that and just go, right, you know, it's bigger. It's more in your face. I quite like that rather than mousing over down here. It's still useful, still helpful, but yeah. So we need to upgrade the base, which means we need stone brick and we need happiness. Well, stone brick comes from the stonemason, we can do that. Happiness comes from delivering wooden planks to these houses, so we can do that. But that is going to have to wait until the next episode. I do hope you've enjoyed this one. I'm rambling a little bit now, I know, mainly because I'm trying to explain things a little bit better. I'm probably not doing a very good job of it, but you know, if one person learns from it, then I'm happy. Fine by that. And even people that have been playing this game before I might know something they don't, and you probably know 10 things I don't. So that's how it works. That's how it works. It's always learning, always a learning experience, especially with that cart being able to mine things. That's weird. But Yes, so we shall carry this on next time. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Hope to see you again next time. Until then, as always, have fun.